Do you feel safe that AI is not going to take your job? It's like,
Yes, I think
I mean,
a few years down the line, I'm an Elon Musk tweet away from being my job being taken over.
All right, welcome back to indigomusic.com. And I am so kicked today because we have somebody a little different from the regular celebrities that we have, on a regular basis. He is a magician, a mentalist, one of the most popular magicians in the country. And it's been 7 or 8 years since he blew my mind, and I'm really looking forward to him blowing my mind once again. Karan Singh Magic, thank you so much for joining me today on indigomusic.com.
Thank you, Melbin. Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to see you again. I remember, I think 2014 December is when we met.
Yes.
And that was one of my first radio interviews back then. So I'm so happy that we're doing this again.
Right. Yeah, really, man. I mean, I think you did a trick with the book, and it was fun. I still have that video. And over the years, though, yeah, I still do. It's on my phone. But Karan, over the years, you have now, I mean, you perform for, celebrities like Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers, Priyanka Chopra, Hrithik Roshan, Shah Rukh Khan. I mean, the list goes on. And all of you listening right now you get to be his audience. And so we also have a magic trick coming up a bit later. But before all that, Karan, I mean, how you been in the last few years? Obviously, I'm sure you've been having a lot of fun. So just tell us, just give us a gist of what it's been like.
It's been pretty interesting, man. Last, I think, few years for me, I've changed the way I look at digital platforms as well. Initially, I was like, no, I'm a live performer. I won't do things online. And I wanted to stick to that. But then 2018, and in my head, I was like, I'm performing for 300 people in one go in an auditorium, and nothing can replace that. Right. Summer 2018, I uploaded a video with Virat, which I didn't even know that video was being shot, the video that I uploaded. I uploaded that. And in like 3 hours, it was like 250 or 300,000 views. And in my head, I was like, I thought that performing for 300 people over a period of an hour, nothing could replace that. And here are 300,000 people who've seen a video. And now that video, of course, I think across platforms has crossed about 15-20 million views over the last couple of years. And that sort of kickstarted it. And I started doing a lot of digital content as well, started uploading videos of me doing magic, which is very different from the things that I do live. A lot of people see the videos, then come for the live show. They're like, oh, the live show is different and it's more fun. Because in the videos, there is still this thing, because most of the videos are with the other celebs. People might think it's scripted or they are just acting or anything of that sort. But when they see it live and they experience it, it's a whole different ballgame. So it's been fun. The last few years, I've dipped my toes into different sorts of performance areas, and it's been amazing, man.
Yeah, and I mean, it's good to see also you have your own YouTube channel, which is doing really well as well. I think about more than 500,000 subscribers. And so you've got into the YouTube game as well. And has that been good? And my wire is going all over the place, but yeah, has that been good?
It's been fun. It's been fun. I was always opposed to magic being viewed on video because I always think magic is an art form which is enjoyed the best live. But I think over the last couple of years, since 2018, June, July, I think there is a certain audience that I've developed which enjoys watching something like this. And the added factor of my YouTube channel for magic is just me doing tricks on celebrities. It's not street magic when I'm roaming around the streets and performing for people. It's just done on celebrities. And I think the added wow factor of that is watching a Virat Kohli or a Shah Rukh Khan being shocked, which is not something you'd get to see every day. So I think that's something that's really worked. And at the same time, people have started getting into the idea that yes, there is more to magic than cutting people in half and taking rabbits out of hats, because I've been able to go to a wider audience, which has been fun.
All right, but you obviously you are a mentalist more than a magician, aren't you? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So you read people's minds, and tell us how it began for you. Just when did it start, and maybe even the first trick you ever learned?
See, initially it was the traditional magic, card tricks and coin tricks and so on. But I think the first show that I did, the first time I got paid to do a show, was when I was 16. And it had one portion of it when I'm either figuring out what somebody's thinking of or planting an idea in someone's head. And that just was the highlight of the show. And then gradually that just became the show, where the entire show is me figuring out what people are thinking of. For me, it's just started. I'd gone for a summer camp when I was 11, met a magician there, and then life turned upside down. That's how I got into it. That was traditional magic, but then the mentalism sort of came later.
Right. I mean, you spoke about, you were 16 when you had your first show. And is that right after that when you decided to just drop out of school? Because that's what you did to pursue your goals, right? So did it happen right after that first show, or did it take a while?
No. So I finished school. I dropped out of college.
You dropped out of college? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I dropped out of college because I think in my final year of college, I started getting enough shows, and I thought that this is something that I can do for a living. And I didn't see the point of doing like a BCom, which I was doing in college.
Right.
I didn't see where it was taking me. On the other hand, there was these shows that I was doing, and then there were exams coming up. And I thought I'd rather do shows than give an exam on something which I couldn't care less about. And then I just kept doing those. Of course, there was a lot of convincing at home that I had to do with mom and dad that I have to pursue this. They gave me a year, and then they said, otherwise you have to go back to your studies, get a job. And so in that year, I hustled as much as I could. That's the year I met you for the first time, I think. No, a couple of years after that is when I met you for the first time. Yeah, 2011, 2012 is when this happened. And I just sort of took it from there, man. It's grown and it's become interesting. I've got a new audience for myself. The sort of younger audience really enjoys, I think, this modern outtake on magic, which is fun.
All right. And you also have a 1 hour special that you're touring with. Tell us a bit about that.
Well, of course, right now I'm at home because everything is shut down.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is a show that I wrote. It's called Dreams. And it's based on 2020. The entire show I wrote at the end of 2020, and it traces my journey on 2020, which sort of is a metaphor for what the world went through in 2020. Of course, we're still going through that, and it traces month by month how we all started during a lockdown when we thought it'd just be a couple of weeks, but of course it's been over a year now. And how we dealt with that. Initially, people just cared about making dalgona coffee and break bed and all of that. But all of that lays forgotten now. And that's how the show also starts. The show starts tracing March 2020 and goes on till December 2020 and what my life has been like. And there's a line to the show because there are a lot of stories which are really things that happened to me and other people as well around me, which are kind of heartbreaking because of the year that was. So there is this line that I have after every story, which I say that I've given you a piece of my soul. So it's only fair that I give you a piece of my art, which is when the trick comes in. So the story and the trick are then connected throughout the show.
Wow. I mean, you really do make it quite an experience. You really are quite the performer on stage as well, aren't you, Karan? And I have this question, and I think this is fascinating. Correct me if I'm wrong, but magic has existed for like thousands of years, obviously, and other performing arts like comedy came to India maybe just a few years ago, but it's taken off. But why has magic always remained very exclusive to just a handful of people? I mean, it's a bit more special in that sense, right? There are not a lot of people doing it. It's always remained a bit mystical. Why do you think that is? Why is it not something that a lot of people can dabble with?
I think inherently magicians like to keep that mystery to themselves because of the kind of art form there is. So they don't really go out and perform for a lot of people. But I think if I could criticize my peers in a way is that they failed to adapt to the times. They have failed to adapt to the times because a lot of people are still stuck in that a magician, an idea. If you go up to somebody on the streets and say, I'm a magician, their first look at you and there's like, oh, why aren't you wearing a hat and a tuxedo? Why aren't there doves flying all over? That's still the idea of a magician. People don't think that a man wearing a shirt can be a magician. We still have that and that's down to the magicians because they failed to sort of capitalize on the times. They failed to capitalize on the platforms that we have. I think the reason comedy worked so well in India is because all the comedians gave an opinion on society through their art. In one way or the other. It's calling society out on its flaws, which magic fails to do. I think a lot of magicians fail to do that because for them it's just, see this trick and that's it. But I think present day audiences want their performers to have some kind of an opinion. They want some kind of social commentary happening through the art. And I think that's the highest form of art you can achieve if you can socially commentate on it through something that you do, which I try to do every now and then, and I think people like that. But I hope more magicians can adapt that.
Yeah, let's hope. And also, you mentioned how a lot of your peers used to keep it very secretive. You don't like to reveal secrets, so maybe you can reveal a secret out here. Maybe teach.
No, never. Never. I would never teach a trick, because I think magic is the only art form. If you know how it's done, then it loses its charm.
Absolutely. So I mean,
never teach.
Do you feel safe that AI is not going to take your job? It's like,
yes, I think a few years down the line, I'm an Elon Musk tweet away from my job being taken over.
Yeah, you'll never know. I mean, crazier things have happened, but I mean, talk about performing for celebrities. You've done so much of that. And in fact, I saw a recent video how you were so excited to perform for Priyanka Chopra. It was a dream come true for you. So do you have, is there any anecdotes or maybe any special moments that you've had? Maybe your best moment performing for a celebrity? Was it Priyanka Chopra? Was there any other experiences? Yeah.
I mean, of course, everyone all the people that I performed for at some level have been special in one way or the other. It'd be mean for me to pick one celebrity over the other, but then I think I've ever since I was a kid, of course, performing for Virat was a huge dream come true, because as a kid growing up in India, I think cricket is inevitably something that you play, and to get the opportunity to perform for the captain of the Indian cricket team was brilliant. I think he was so humble. The way he conducted himself was brilliant. And again, another person I've always looked up to is Shah Rukh. And to be able to sit with him, to be able to chill with him was a lot of fun. And I had to keep pinching myself. I was with him about I've met him a bunch of times now. But that first time I had that conversation with him, I was with him for like 5 or 6 hours. And I kept pinching myself. Is this real? And then when that night was over, I came back home and I was like, excellent, I can retire now. I've achieved nirvana. There's nothing else that I can hope to achieve. But I think the best thing that happened, the anecdote that I'm telling you, is that later that day I was watching a football match. I'm a big football fan. And I got a text on my phone, and it was like, I thought it was just somebody asking me to link my Aadhaar with something. Maybe it's something like that. And I picked up my phone and the text read, "Thanks for a very entertaining evening, Shah Rukh Khan." And for me, just that feeling of getting that message and that instant was like, damn, did this just happen? And just, that changed my life. That changed my life for the moment.
All right, getting a text from Shah Rukh, I mean, it really doesn't get better than that. All right, so Karan, I mean, you spoke of how you have attained nirvana, Shah Rukh Khan, the biggest thing that could have happened to you. But what about, a lot of magicians have this one thing that they want to do, like maybe be underwater for 3 days, or maybe hang up in the air for, I don't know, God knows how long. Do you have one such trick that you want to do that is a little dangerous, but it's something that you're really, you really just want to tick off your list?
I don't think I have one trick which I want to do, but I definitely have a dream where I want to go to, which is just what I'm doing now, touring my show in India. But I'm able to do that maybe 1 show a week or 2 shows a week or 2 cities a week, something like that. I want to grow that to where I can perform in a different city in the country every single day for 6 months a year. That is something I want to do. So maybe 180 to 200 shows in a different city every year. And these aren't, I mean, of course, I'll do 100 to 150 corporate gigs. I already do those, but I want to do like where people can buy tickets in a different city. Maybe one day I'm in Delhi, the next day I'm in Mumbai, then I'm in Lucknow, Calcutta, every corner of the country where people can come and see me perform, and just magic grows, because I think I want the art form to grow in India, because it has been the land of yogis lying on beds of nails and fakirs and that kind of magic. I want people to know this modern outtake of magic, and the only way that can happen is more and more people getting to see it. So my dream would be to be able to do those shows as opposed to one specific trick.
Wow, that's really cool. And do you have any particular people that really inspired you when you were growing up? I mean, when you started?
Yes, I think there are 3. There's this British magician called Darren Brown who I've always looked up to, and I've been lucky enough to meet him on a few occasions and share a coffee with him and talk about magic. So that has been brilliant. I've looked up to him ever since I was, I think, 13 or 14 years old. Then there is, of course, Shah Rukh was another person. I loved his stage persona, the way he performed, the way he carried himself on stage, his showmanship. That's something, of course, I looked up to even before Magic happened to me. And the last one was Steve Jobs. Again, because of the way he made, there's no other word for it, the way he made technology sexy. Tech was never sexy. Tech was considered to be nerdy. But then the first time Steve Jobs stepped on stage and he had that iPhone in his hand and he just scrolled through and people lost their minds and he's scrolling with a finger. And just the way he presented that again. It was magic. It was
magic. Yeah, it almost was. Yeah.
It was. And just again, the showmanship that he had on stage, it really inspired me. So those three people are some people I've really looked up to pretty much all my life.
All right. Brilliant. Karan Singh Magic, you always have been quite the showman yourself, and you're absolutely fantastic. I'm really looking forward to catching you live again sometime soon, hopefully after this lockdown and pandemic really goes away. But for now, maybe you can put on a show for us, a small little trick for our audience. Yes.
For sure, let's do this. So Melbin, very important because you're interviewing me and all of that, we haven't set anything up. You and I haven't asked you to help me out or anything of that sort, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yes. So the idea what I have here is that both of us, you specifically, are going to work in a way to create a moment of magic. Because I think what the world could do with more of right now, with everything that's happening, is a little bit more of magic. If somehow we could get past what we find ourselves in, it's magic that will get us through. Of course, the magic is the vaccine, but for now, let's pretend it's the magic that we are about to do. I have with me...
I like metaphors,
I have with me a deck of cards here, Melbin.
Yeah.
If I ask you to name any card at all, not the Joker, don't try to catch me out, but any card at all, what card would you name?
I know better than to try and catch you out, but the card that I would name, you want me to tell you right now, or should I keep it to myself?
Yes, say it out loud. Say it out loud.
Okay, say it out loud. Okay, so I would go for 10 of diamonds.
10 of diamonds. And is that a card that just sort of came into your mind? Did a couple of other cards come into your mind before you settled with the 10 of diamonds? Or
I think a couple of cards did come up,
A couple of cards did come up. All right, excellent. But 10 of diamonds is what you settled with. Do you want to stick with that? Do you want to change your mind?
Maybe I can stick to it. Yeah.
You want to stick to it? All right, excellent. And Melbin, there are 52 cards in a deck of cards. If I ask you to name a number somewhere between 1 and 52, somewhere in the middle, what would you say?
29.
29. And again, that's a completely free choice, correct?
Yes.
Cool. So you said 10 of diamonds and you chose the number 29. Now, if you were to create this moment of magic, Melbin, if you create this small moment of magic in this deck of cards, which have been in the box in plain view since the beginning, if I was to deal 29 cards and look at the next card and that ends up being the 10 of diamonds, you have seemingly created a moment of magic which neither of us could have predicted, because the odds of that happening are highly improbable.
Yes, completely agree. Let's see if that happens.
Now keep me honest, Melbin. Make sure I don't do any sleight of hand, anything of that sort. I'm going to take out all the cards as one.
Right.
Nothing left in the box. I'm not going to shuffle. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to count 29 cards off the top of the deck. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29. That's 29 cards down. That's the next card, Melbin. You came up with the 10 of diamonds.
Yep.
The odds of this happening are highly, highly unlikely. But you've created this moment of magic, Melbin, and I want you to imagine what would happen if 7 billion people come together and work together to create a moment of magic and get us out of the situation that we find ourselves in. Because that's 29 cards down, and that is the 10 of diamonds.
Wow, I like what you're saying. I created that moment of magic. Very, very wow, that is just brilliant. Karan Singh Magic, that was phenomenal. You blew my mind once again. After 7 or 8 years, I hope I don't have to wait for another 7 to 8 years for it to happen again. Really hoping to catch you soon live, man. That was phenomenal stuff. Thank you for joining us on IndigoMusic.com, and all the very best to you. I hope all your dreams come true.
Thank you, Melvin. Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to catch me, if not live, like you can catch me online. I'm doing shows pretty much every weekend. So feel free to check on Book My Show, and I'll be doing shows there.
All right. That was Karan Singh Magic right here on IndigoMusic.com. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you thought this was quite magical.